Ripple is trying to buy Circle right now. They made an offer of $5 billion, 0 cents, that was turned down, and now Ripple is trying to get more. Know everything that's going on, why it's important for Ripple to buy Circle, and what might happen to the XRP system and price if everything falls apart. This is going to be very full of important information for you. Let's start. With Ripple buying Circle, what role would a stablecoin play in the future? How will this look? Okay, the upcoming IPO filing for Circle just showed a big weakness. A lot of money from USDC's reserves still goes to Coinbase even though Circle paid them $210 million, 0 cents to leave the group. That's a huge loss of money, and Ripple has the money, the structure, and the drive to fix it. This makes sense in this way. Circle brought in $1,680 million, 0 cents in 2024, but only made $156 million in net gain. It would be rough to make almost $1,700 million, 0 cents, and only be able to take home 10% of that. Then it says that Ripple, on the other hand, has a lot of different ways for money to move. Sell XRP, work with institutions, pay fees to send money across borders, earn interest, make money, and invest. Circle is in charge of USCC, the second biggest stablecoin in the world, but Ripple doesn't have the same problems as Circle. If Ripple steps in, they can take Circle's money, change Coinbase's terms, and raise margins, and add USDC to RippleNet and Liquidity Hub. This would make stablecoins a natural part of the Ripple ecosystem. Also, to join the speed of XRP with the regulatory acceptance of USDC, making a two-token financial powerhouse. Ripple has been through a lot of tough times and has been getting a lot of attention from the SEC. By buying Circle, it's set up to be a leader in a controlled market for digital assets. Swirl gets quick access to more than $60 billion, 0 cents in Circle's USDC liquidity, which increases the company's size and reach in a world where it already operates. In exchange, Circle gets Ripple's operational strength, legal firepower, and direct DeFi integration. This gets rid of Circle's reliance on coins and improves its business plan. Everything is fine for everyone. Ripple can add USDC to its network and trading hub, which will turn stablecoins into real assets. Within the environment of payment liquidity, Ripple will be in charge of both the rails and assets of the new financial stack, with XRP as a liquidity token and USDC as a regulated stablecoin. Going to change the name? For example, would they change it to RLUSD or keep it as USDC? That's an interesting fact. People have been throwing away $20 billion, 0 cents, because Ripple offered, $4,950 million, 0 cents. Circle said no, so Ripple made another offer of $20 billion. This seems fake to me. It looks like you can leave, or 1, 2, you can make your first deal even better. Okay, when you raise your first offer, you don't raise it 4 times, do you? You would give $20 billion instead of 5. You're offering 6 or 7 billion, right? You do it little by little. That's the process of negotiating. You're pretty much giving away the whole farm. This is what I found. This helped me. Things are not clear about the deals between Circle and Ripple. Just remember not to pay too much attention to what people say here. Believe this person has it right on. Many thoughts on the Circle and Ripple deal on X. As someone who has worked at both Goldman Sachs and Blackstone, I thought I'd talk about how deals usually go. In short, Ripple's last offer is expected to be between $6, 0 cents and $6,500 million, 0 cents. That's it. Why? Most purchase premiums are between 20%. If Ripple's IPO value is $5 billion, it makes sense that it would look at offers between $6 billion and $6.5 billion. This means that Ripple's next and final offer will probably be between $6 and $6.5 billion. What is the price that a business pays when it buys another business? It might have to pay extra to give the buyer a reason to sell. When news of a purchase comes out, the stock price of a public company often goes up. You can get rid of this noise on X if you know the basics of how M&A works. Another thing is that you meet and work together a lot here. Here it is at the Infant Global Summit 2025. We're excited to have Coinbase, Circle, and Ripple at our meeting to talk about the future of stablecoins. CEOs from all over the financial and crypto ecosystems are putting together the meeting, along with top leaders from the Bank of England and the Treasury. It says, every day there are new use cases that come up. They range from SME exports to remembering things from the past. It's just about what they cover. I'm not going to read, you don't have to read that to you, but this is how it looked. Along those lines, don't take too much from what I said, but I found it interesting that Tether was at the Ripple-hosted stablecoin breakfast yesterday, but not Circle. Hey Sensei, people ask if I was live streaming for about 2.5 hours yesterday. This came up during the live stream, and I was able to really help people understand what's going to happen here. So this is very easy. Just look at a chain like Ethereum. Absolutely, Ethereum, if you come here and click on stables, or if you go to DeFi Llama and click on stables, you'll see a map of where the stalls or chains are. That is, if you click on these chains, this is going to show you where a lot of this value is and what kind of chain it is. Don't forget that the $60 billion, 0 cents, that is in the crypto market is spread out across all of these chains. If, say, Ripple bought Circle tomorrow, let's say that when you wake up the next day, nothing has changed. This money will stay right where it is. Now, I'm sure they can move some things around if they need to. It's not likely that all of this cash will leave Ethereum, Tron, and Base, though, and Binance, Polygon, and all of these other networks to get to the XRP system. Okay, they might be able to move a few billion here and there, but most of this will stay where it is, okay, since a lot of it is on Ethereum. You can go down and see that some of this is USDT. So be very careful. Here's the USD, right? 13 billion, 500 million on Solana. That means 13 billion would not be added to the XRP system. Then here's 4 billion on Base. That won't be added to the XRP record. This is almost 3 billion on Arbitrum. All of this value is on different chains, as you can see. I don't think this will have a big effect on the price, though. I do think that the fantasy price of XRP will go through the roof, though. People are thinking about this. If Ripple buys Hidden Road and then goes on to do something similar, what other blockchain infrastructure company do you know that is bigger than Ripple? Well, they wouldn't have the chance to talk to USDT because most businesses and banks won't talk to them about safe coins, right? Because, banks care most about following the rules, right? They're following the rules to avoid being sued or arrested, right? Or given a fine. Lower risk all the time. Because of this, banks will hire blockchain technology firms like Ripple and Circle to make stable coins. Now, if Ripple has their own technology, which in this case means stablecoin technology, they would be one of the strongest companies in the world. Even though they're already making progress, this would be way too much. Okay, and as for the US market and the European market, USDT isn't allowed there because of unclear rules, but that can be changed, right? USDT needs to be checked out. For the audit, they need to do what Ripple did and go to the New York Department of Financial Services, and their numbers would be